Hey race fans, it's Tim here. I'm in the shop this morning. It's Friday morning. Getting ready to post another video here for you guys. I wanted to show you a little bit about what's going on with Bill's car. We've got Shawns Vega in here. We're tearing apart and looking at it. And then we've got this 49 Ford rat rod style truck that I want to talk a little bit about so you guys can get an idea how this all works. Here we go. I want to talk about the 750 cert on this Willys first. So here goes nothing. Okay. I had showed you guys pictures of 750 cert spec in the SFI book in regards to how they want these. They're 8A bars, the floor diagonals in the car. We put this 1¼ bar in here, 1¼ 58. This is to keep the rocker bar from being pushed in case of an accident. Then they want these two diagonals in here. These are 1 inch 058 tubing. And what's supposed to happen is this is supposed to be like if you were building like a Camaro or something else, this bar would be parallel with the frame rail, but in the Willys it can't be. As you can see, we've got this bar here is only 2 inches long, and they want this diagonal to go from this corner to outer corner. If I put this bar into there, it runs parallel with the frame rail and it doesn't do anything. So I reached out to my buddy Jack, who's a NHRA tech inspector, and discussed some of this with him. And he says he believes this will work okay because it adds some strength here. It creates more triangles. And you know, I always believe that a triangle is stronger than a rectangle. So we got that done. And then on that side of the car, I ran that one over about the same distance out. It doesn't need that 1¼ bar because there's no seat over there, but it does need that triangulation to pass tech. So I put that in there, and Jack seems to be okay with that. And I put this 1¼ 058 bar in here. 1¼ 058's a good size tube as long as this tube, the A-pillar bar, is not interrupted by that tube. If this goes from the hoop down to the frame rail without any interruption, 1¼ 058 is fine. Now on this car, you'll notice this bar comes out like this. It's curved out on the firewall, and this is legal as long as it's only 8 inches from here to here, and that's what I've got on this bar. But Jack says if he doesn't certify it, some other guy may complain about this bar, so I put this one in as, yeah, like a belt and suspenders, if you know what I mean. But I also needed something to attach the steering column and the throttle pedal and everything else to, so the two bars will help me in that respect. And this one will be right below the dash, so we're good there. I've done a lot of the outside welding, put in some more tubing. I added this tube here, 1 inch tube, to help triangulate the truss that I put in the front end to make that stronger, because this would have bent right here. Big wheelies, that would have bent right there. So with this triangulation in here, that doubles the strength. Then I did some of the back here. I got these bars in here that help support, you know, they carry some of the strength there. We got that done. And I located the front axle jig where it's got to be. The axle should be here in like the next week or so, because I really need the axle in it so I can finish, you know, getting the chassis, the main part of the chassis done. Then I can get it off the jig, get it down where it's a more reasonable work height. That's what I'm shooting for. Then over here we got Shawns Vega. Sean bought this Vega running, sold the parts out of it, and basically got the car for free. But he wants a forever car. He loves these early Vegas, and we want to build him a nice hot rod. So we started cutting this apart as you can see, it was a running driving car, but it was so poorly done that he wanted to reback half of it. Well, what we're finding now is there's some issues with the way the roll cage was done originally. It's got a certification sticker on it, but we're trying to really make this a nice car for him, and we just ain't getting there with what we got right now. So he's coming in this morning. We're going to discuss some of this stuff and try to get this all worked out for him. I'm good at doing what the customer wants, but he wants this to be forever car, and I want it to be a forever car for him. And I'm just, the more I look, the more I see. So we're going to redo quarters. He wants original steel lips on it, and I'm okay with all that. I'm good with all that stuff. This has got those fiberglass stretchers on it, and they're sort of cheesy, but we can fix all that for him. But I'm like, when we're doing this preliminary build, getting this way, I want both of us to be on the same page. You know, he knows what I know, and I know what he knows. And when we're done, we're going to have us a nice hot rod. So anyways, that's what's going with the Vega. We've been cutting this apart, trying to get the chunks out of there. Some more up in there. We haven't cut them out yet because we're worried about burning the headliner up and the paint on the roof. So I got to come up with some creative options to get those tubes out of there if I'm going to save this roll cage. So, and I'm going to try. That's what he wants to do. So anywho, you've probably seen this in earlier videos. 49 Ford rat rod. Somebody else started building it and couldn't finish it, so they brought it to me to finish it. So now what I want to talk about here is, I've said this before, he said he had two things he needed me to do to this truck. Okay, he said he thought the alternator wasn't charging, which is fine, I can figure that out. And he said the steering had some play in it. And what I had noticed, and it's my fault, I noticed this when we were loading the truck, so for him to take it home, is that the previous builder used these early Lucky 7 forged steering arms. Okay, this stuff was on the truck when it showed up here. The brakes weren't on it, but the steering arms and stuff were. And then I realized as we're loading the thing, it's got no Ackerman in it. So what I've got to do is I've got to heat these up and bend them out closer to the wheel and the rotor so that we can get some Ackerman in this and make a new tie rod for it. No biggie. But he said also that there's play in the steering box, and I tried to talk him into how to adjust it, and I don't think he got it. So I'm gonna adjust the steering box for him. But then it's, you know, he wants to try to do drag week with this thing, which is fine. But he brought me a hitch that he's built that needs to be put on. And then in the back of the truck, nothing's braced like down by the bumper diagonally, so we got to put some diagonal links in it. And he thinks the horn's too loud, so we got to put a shunt in. And he wants to have a switch wired in for the fan so he can bypass this thermostat in the fan. And it's like I've talked before, you know. Here's my list. You know, can you see it? Here's my list. We went from 2 things to what, 12, 15? So, you know, I thought this was going to be a day or 2 job, and now it's going to be a week job. So I'm going to have to thrash on this one. And I did notice when he brought it in, like we put this thing together, and I had explained to him on how to set the ride height. Well, the snubbers in the shocker, they're right up against the shock body. You can see in there, there's a little bit of clearance, but I got to raise them spring seats up about 1 inch probably to get some better travel in this cantilever system that we had to remodify. So like I say, a lot of little odds and ends. Honestly, probably 3 or 4 day job, but we're going to try to get her knocked out for Rex and make him happy. So as you see, you got the body off the Willys. We talked about that, so I could do some welding and fitting and all that kind of stuff. I don't really want to put it back on until we get it off the jig, because there's stuff I got to do in the back end of the car, you know, like when it comes to mounting the battery and everything else. Really need to have it underneath the fiberglass. So, and when you're mounting a fuel cell, the rules state that the fuel cell has to be covered, but you know, it's got to be underneath tubing. It couldn't be like up here high, where if you roll the car over, you'd knock the fuel cell off. So that's why these bars have a curve in them like this to match the body, so we can get all that stuff tucked inside. And there's some more tubing that's got to go in here, but I just haven't got to it. So as you can see, I got some more welding done on the 4-link brackets. They're going good. A lot more triangulation. I've got my drive shaft loops in there. So we got a lot going on. Motor plate's done. Like I say, we got shit everywhere. Excuse my language, but we've got a lot to do. So that's what's happening in the shop. I wanted to share that with y'all. My Chevelle's about ready to roll out of here. I got to put the spatter paint in the trunk and finish assembling that. I'm really, truly hoping I can do that this weekend. Fiddle around with this stuff myself. So, like I say, you can see it's full. Lots of stuff to do, but I must like doing it because I keep letting it happen. So, and honestly, I think this truck is really cool. It's a 69 Boss 302 engine. I mean, he's got the factory air cleaner and everything else, and that's how he wanted this truck to look. He wanted to look like they pulled this motor right out of a 69 Mustang and stuck in his car. So, I mean, I got some odds and ends. He had somebody helping him with this truck, and they've messed up a couple things that I got to fix, but it's okay. It's got to be pretty messed up before I can't fix it. So that's what we got going on. Shawns' car, Bill's car, Rex's car. Like I didn't have enough stuff to do. So, and it's 8:30 in the morning, and I figured I'd share a little info with you, and we'll just take it from there. I'll talk to y'all next week. Thanks for watching. Tell all your racing gasser friends to watch what we're doing. And I appreciate everybody that watches this stuff. I do. I mean, it's growing a little bit, and that just means the word's getting out there. As I said before, I don't want to be, YouTube sensation. I don't want to be get rich from this stuff. I just want to share what's inside my head so that when I'm gone, guys can reference this. You can tell your buddies, hey, watch one of Tim's videos. He's got some info on how this works. And like I say, this is how I do it. There's other guys out there that probably think what I'm doing is dumb, but that's okay. I love what I'm doing. Like I say, I'm retired. I'm just doing this for fun. I'm just having fun. When it's not any fun anymore, I'll stop doing it. I don't need to do this. I can, work on my Chevy 2, which I've told you before. I'm going to do some videos on how to fix that mess. So, love the little car, but it's, like I say, it's scary dangerous. So, I'm going to do some work on that. And like I say, I'll give you updates on all this stuff towards the end of next week. Thanks for watching, everybody. I appreciate it.